Hey everybody, it's Joe with Pocketnow.com. If you've been over to Sprint's website anytime in the last little bit, you've probably noticed there's an awful lot of phones available to choose from. About 42. 4 of them, however, are iPhones, and you thought they only had one, but 19 of them are Androids. What's the Android that's on top? It's the HTC EVO 4G LTE. We got a chance to review it. Let's go take a look. So when you pick up your HTC EVO 4G LTE from your nearest Sprint store or from the website, you'll notice it comes in this kind of a understated brown box. So when you open the box, you're going to notice your phone sitting there right on top. After the manuals, you'll notice that we've got a really nice micro USB cable. You've also got a nice HTC branded wall wart there, just a 2-prong. This is a US one after all. You will not find a micro SD card anywhere in there. It's not there. You're not going to find a GSM card because you don't need it. Not even for LTE, which is unusual. You're also going to notice that although the phone has Beats audio included in it, it does not include any Beats audio certified headphones. In fact, there are no headphones. Let's talk a little bit about the design. HTC got a black eye because all of their phones in the past were kind of a cookie cutter. They all looked the same. It was all just essentially the same phone with different guts. With the HTC One family, HTC is changing all of that. The EVO 4G LTE, though named differently than the One series, is most certainly one of the family. The EVO is a beautiful device. Although the edges of the 4.7-inch display don't employ the same infinity edges that the One X does, the black aluminum surrounding it makes the edges all but disappear. The front of the device holds an elegant earpiece with a hidden notification LED, a subtle HTC logo, and 3 capacitive buttons at the bottom of the screen. The Sprint and HTC logos are on the back. They're very subtle and they help to emphasize the phone rather than the carrier and the manufacturer. The back of the phone is mostly a matte aluminum, giving the EVO 4G LTE a durable feel. Oddly, the top of the phone is a high gloss material. It's a removable plastic piece that's probably the best surface for attracting fingerprints and smudges that I've ever seen. Hiding under this glossy panel is an empty micro SD card slot, which will accept up to 32 gig cards to supplement its internal 16 gig of storage. Separating the two materials on the back of the phone is a red strip of aluminum that can be pulled out and used as a kickstand. I keep asking myself why this ridiculously useful component isn't available on every smartphone and tablet made today. The EVO 4G LTE feels great in the hand. The anodized aluminum space frame, as they call it, has just the right amount of grip without sacrificing style. Combined with the device's light weight, only 134 grams, which is 4.72 ounces, the EVO 4G LTE feels light, but not cheap. Along the sides of the device are the usual components: a headphone jack, noise-canceling mic, and a power or standby button on the top, which doubles as a panel removal notch. The volume up and down rocker and a camera button appear on the right side, and the primary microphone is on the bottom. On the left side is the micro USB connector, and nothing else. Made from durable materials with high-quality workmanship, with its elegant lines and chiseled edges, the EVO 4G LTE doesn't disappoint, and it's going to help put HTC back on top. When the phone's only negative element is its glossy top, you know you've got something pretty good in hand. The EVO runs a dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 clocked at 1.5 GHz and featuring 1 gig of DDR2 RAM. We've seen phones with more cores, but with these scores, I don't think you're going to notice much of a difference with this combination. This isn't the Tegra 3 quad-core that we've seen in some other phones, but even the HTC One X had noticeable lag in some elements of the UI. This EVO 4G LTE has the same noticeable lag and in the same places. This leads me to believe that the lag isn't hardware related and can likely be addressed in future updates and optimizations to Sense 4.0. Honestly, I don't miss the beefier processor. Storage is more limited than I like, but you can add your own micro SD card to this phone, and it comes with 25 gig of Dropbox cloud storage as well. Team that up with Google Music, and your music library is close by when you want it. The massive 4.7-inch 720p HD Super LCD display is beautiful. Even in sunlight, the screen was clear, usable, and even comfortably readable. I'm not often surprised by a screen, but this screen is the bee's knees. Let's move on to software and talk about HTC Sense. With Sense 4.0, HTC has improved in almost every area. It's lighter, it's faster, and it adds a level of finesse that other launchers just don't have. Subtle animations are everywhere, but not over the top. The translucent menu bar opens up the screen and makes it appear larger. And I don't know how I'll be able to live without the Sense 4.0 lock screen when I have to send this phone back. Like we mentioned before, some of these niceties come at a cost. That cost is noticeable lag in areas where speed is most important, like opening the running apps list and the app drawer. Not necessarily part of Sense, the soft keyboard on the EVO 4G LTE also falls short. The speed and accuracy of HTC's keyboard still isn't competing with even the stock ICS keyboard, let alone third-party alternatives. Luckily, swapping the keyboard, or IME, isn't difficult to do. It's just something that you shouldn't have to do. So how much bloatware does the EVO 4G LTE have? There are 19 apps on there that you might consider to be bloatware. Although Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich allows you to disable apps that you don't want displayed in your app drawer, the apps are still there. They're still taking up space, they're still slowing down your phone, and they're still opening you up to potential security holes. So what about the Sprint network? Is it any good? And how about that LTE that we keep saying in the name of the phone? Unless you're in one of only a couple urban areas in the country, your fancy Sprint LTE phone will only get 3G. Even if you live right next door to a WiMAX umbrella like I do. The only reason I bring this up is because without WiMAX, AT&T and T-Mobile's HSPA Plus network make the EVO 4G LTE look snail slow. Let's not even talk about LTE speeds on Verizon and AT&T. That comparison, it'll only make you cry. Voice, on the other hand, was reliable, though not remarkable. Calls sounded okay, but not spectacular. I was able to get clearer calls to Tony in Romania using Skype than I was using Sprint's voice network. Beats audio is nothing short of amazing. You owe it to yourself to try it out. For its primary shooter, the EVO has an 8-megapixel camera on the back with a relatively small LED flash. With an f2.0 lens and autofocus, the pictures that are taken on the device looked really good. After dumping them over to my computer, they turned out to be only average. The reason for this appears to be the Super LCD screen, which makes average shots look way better than they actually are. Brightly lit subjects tend to be overexposed, and low light images are still a bit grainy. The camera app, on the other hand, is quite nice. Its beauty is in its simplicity. Want a still shot? Tap the shutter button. Want a video? Press the video button. That's it. Simple, elegant, no swapping between modes. Pressing the right button does it for you. The 2000 mAh battery isn't removable, but it's appropriately sized for the phone and for your normal tasks. I've been amazed at the runtime I've gotten out of this phone. Always the realist, however, I have to wonder how much LTE, when it's finally available, will impact the battery. In the meantime, under Wi-Fi or 3G, the EVO 4G LTE has the best battery life of any phone I've ever tested. So how did the EVO 4G LTE finally score? After having to dock at a point here and there, we ended up with a solid 7.7. If you're already on the Sprint network or looking at changing carriers, you can pick up a new HTC EVO 4G LTE for $199.99 if you sign up for a 2-year contract, or $549.99 if you don't. Now, it's not available just quite yet, but it should be available soon, though they did close down the pre-orders, at least at the time of this video. We think you'll really like this phone, and if you want to know more about it, head on over to the article at Pocketnow.com. For Pocketnow, showing off brand new phones, I'm Joe Levi.